Today, I'm joined by the executive chairman from Quantum BioPharma, Anthony Durkacz. Anthony, we're so delighted to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy.
Now, your company has been focused on innovative therapies for some of the most difficult neurodegenerative diseases in the world, like multiple sclerosis. Is that correct?
That is correct. And our intention and what we're going after is to try to deliver something that no MS patient has today, the ability to regain mobility or control that has been lost due to the disease.
And while you've had some incredible game-changing results as you've been moving along, today we're going to be talking about a different game changer. We're going to be discussing spoofing. How about we start there by you explaining to our audience who may not be familiar with the term spoofing, what that is.
Spoofing is an act of stock manipulation, which is illegal today in Canada and the United States. Spoofing is effectively an intention to create a sense within a stock, in our case, to make the market believe that the stock is heading in a certain direction. So, for example, in our case, when we were seeing a number of asks on our stock, some of them that were very, very large in comparison to even the daily volume of trading of the company over a long period of time. And the fact that some of the firms that were showing it appeared, we knew enough of our shareholders where that stock could be coming from. And then all of a sudden, what ends up happening is someone buys a part of one of these big asks, and all of a sudden the rest of that big ask disappears. And in a lot of cases, you see these bids that start to show up for the amount that was sold. And so there shows an intention, and the intention was that they wanted to show that there was a lot of big amounts of stock for sale, so that if general investors, like if I'm an investor and I'm looking at a stock and I see a lot of big asks, the first thing that enters my mind is, oh, wow, there's a lot of sellers out there that want to sell, and they're big sellers. So, they know something? And that's really what comes down to spoofing.
And of course, dumbing it down for people like myself out there who need it really simplified. It's basically the large banks are able to do this, if I'm understanding this correctly, without the ability to actually execute. So they're doing the asks, but they don't actually have the shares to sell. Is that correct?
Correct. And
Now,
they have big asks, and their intention isn't to actually sell. It's to create a sensation in the market.
and of course, you've never been one to not actually move forward with some kind of pro-action. And in this case, you have gone ahead and you have placed a class action lawsuit against the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce and the Royal Bank of Canada, as well as their broker-dealer subsidiaries, on behalf of Quantum BioPharma for $700 million. Is that correct?
Yes, 700 million US dollars.
I've noticed there's been a lot of news coverage on this because these are major banks. And obviously, friends of yours are probably saying to you, you must undoubtedly have some real evidence to go up against such large banks. Would that be correct?
Yes, we believe we have very strong evidence backed by the fact that we have some of the best law firms in the world that understand these types of cases and are working on a contingency basis only. So we're not paying anything to have them represent us.
And it's quite a large law firm that's representing you out of New York, Kaplan Fox. Is that correct?
It's not Kaplan Fox who is representing our case right now. Is Christensen Attar and Norman Friedland, and just recently, a few weeks ago, a potentially larger class action lawsuit was filed by Grant and Eisenhofen, which is a law firm out of New York who is world renowned in a very, very large litigation firm that has been successful in a number of multi-billion-dollar settlements with large corporations.
in
class action lawsuits.
And thank you so much for that correction. I do want to add that with this class action lawsuit from that particular firm, they are seeking shareholders who held shares of Quantum BioPharma from January 6th, 2021 to October 15th, 2025. This seems like a very large period of time to have been the victim of spoofing. Can you tell us anything more about this?
We believe it's been longer than that going back, but there are that you have legal time limits to be able, as far as we're allowed to go back. That's the only reason why we haven't gone back further than that, unfortunately.
Cases like this can take an exceptionally long period of time. What's the timeline looking forward into 2026 with this lawsuit?
We do not, with these types of lawsuits, we don't look at timelines. The fact that it doesn't cost us financially, we're not worried about that side of it. We always expect a very big fight. This is, a David versus like 13 Goliaths, right? And this could be an exceptionally large case. There are not many like it out there. So it could hopefully set precedents. And most of all, we're trying to bring this to the attention because I think even you, Tracy, who is so knowledgeable in the industry, especially of microcap and small cap companies, how many of them, when you talk to CEOs of those companies or investors of those companies, have like these same type of complaints that happen to their shares and their share prices and their investors. And the majority of the people that are harmed here are good individuals and mom and pops that end up taking the brunt of the losses from what we're seeing. And so we believe because number one, we were forced, we tried everything that we could and communicated with everybody we could that we had to take some form of action just to try to protect our company, to try to keep it out of our share price getting annihilated to the point where we would run out of money. And we're this is an epidemic that is continuing every single day on a number of different stocks in different industries, and it impacts the capabilities and the marketplace of entrepreneurial microcap and small cap companies. And somebody has to take a stand, and we want to get more attention on this issue because it's an issue that affects almost everybody that invests in microcap and small cap stocks.
We've been covering predatory short selling for the last couple of years, and Save Canadian Mining, run by Terry Lynch, is trying to make a difference with predatory short selling. Are you leading a stop spoofing, or is there any legislation that you're hoping to get deployed as a result of this lawsuit?
So Terry's on our board at Quantum BioPharma, by the way. So we are working with Terry directly. A lot of it all fits into the same category. The naked shorting, when a short, whether it's naked or not, occurs, there could be spoofing to try to, make the share price go down so that those who have shorted it, whether naked or not, can make money off rebuying it at a lower price.
Well, I think some of the advantages of the individuals, the groups, the companies, and banks that are utilizing spoofing is that not many people really understand some of these tools, techniques, and tricks they can use to actually manipulate stock prices. So I think the fact that you're trying to educate the general public and investors in general on how this works is absolutely applaudable. Now, is there a website where you can find out more information on spoofing that you've set up?
Yeah, if you go to www.quantumbiopharma.com and go to the tab Quantum versus Banks, you'll be able to find a lot more information on this.
Well, let's turn the leaf here in this interview to something incredibly positive. What's happening with Quantum BioPharma here in this next quarter?
We're excited. We're hoping to get the okay to begin a phase 2 trial on this game-changing potential drug to see if there's a signal Now, in MS patients, an efficacy signal to get back, some of the mobility or control that they've lost in their body due to the disease. We've had tremendous success over the past number of years in animals, in animal models, where we have it also on our website. You'll see animals that lost their ability to walk, and then after taking our drug over a certain period of time, completely walk again. And that's what we're looking to see now in humans for the very first time. This is a new chemical entity, so it has never entered the human body except for our phase 1 study. And so those are done in what they call healthy subjects. In phase 2 now, we're actually going to be able to test it on patients with MS.
We don't often do this, but we're actually going to supply a link to a wonderful interview that was done by BNN Bloomberg with a man who has multiple sclerosis. So we're going to put that in the text below. And of course, for those of you seeking more information on Quantum BioPharma or spoofing, please go to the following website. Anthony, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for yours, Tracy.